A local rapper charged for a rival rapper's murder had his bond reduced today from $2 million to $750,000.
The bond hearing was this morning for Yella Beezy, whose real name is Marquise Conway. Fox 4's Sean Rabb in studio now with the details on this. Sean.
Conway's been indicted on capital murder with remuneration, meaning he paid for someone to kill rival rapper Melvin Noble, known in the music world as Mo 3. 44 bullet casings were recovered from Interstate 35 November 11th, 2020. When Mo 3 was gunned down.
Where he has paid another man to hunt down and kill somebody in broad daylight.
Marquise Conway, double platinum recording artist, Yella Beezy, shackled in court as video from a dash camera played for the court how Melvin Noble lost his life in November 2020 on Interstate 35. Trapped in traffic and seeing a gunman, later identified as Kewan White, Noble got out of his car on the interstate. At the passenger side, he's looking for something, maybe a gun of his own. It's not there. He falls, crawls, and runs, chased down by the masked gunman. Prosecutor Tommy Adams told Judge Gracie Lewis the state has a witness who will testify Conway, Yella Beezy, was part of a conversation about the payment for Melvin Noble's murder and that he withdrew $40,000 from an account days after the murder.
That state's witness will also testify that Marquise Conway was one of the individuals responsible for a portion of that payment.
Prosecutor Adams argued Beezy, who lives in a Frisco mansion, drives a bulletproof Denali for a reason, and, according to 2020 bank records, had $870,000 in a checking and savings account in one bank, should not have his bond lowered. He questioned Conway's grandmother, a retired Dallas County courts clerk.
You agree with me that your grandson is substantially well off, correct?
He might used to be, but if he could make a $2 million bond, he'd be out.
Would you agree with me, though, that there's a difference between can, want to, and choosing not to?
I'm aware of all of those things, but I know he don't want to be in here, so I know if he could afford it, he'd be out.
Defense attorneys John Guccio and Toby Shook told the judge the state has not connected Beezy to any murder for hire.
You've received no information of a text message, any message on social media platform that our client paid for this murder, any type of remuneration, no recording of any sort, just this person who came forward and said he overheard this conversation.
The judge lowering the bond by more than $1 million to $750,000, but gave Conway a stern warning.
I hope that you're taking this seriously because your responses in this affidavit kind of indicate that you're not. You understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the judge referencing the financial affidavit every defendant must complete to give to the court and give them an idea of what kind of bail they can afford. It's supposed to show all your debt and all your income. Kewan White, the man charged with Mo 3's murder, is currently in federal prison on a gun charge, serving a 9-year sentence.
An Oklahoma woman says she was attacked while celebrating her bachelorette party in Dallas this past weekend.
And she still has very visible injuries on her face with less than a month to go until her wedding. There's dash camera footage from a rideshare driver. It shows the aftermath of the attack. A group of people surrounding Canada Rinaldi outside Deep Ellum bars. She says the attack was random, that it happened in a flash. And she spoke with Fox 4's Amelia Jones, who's in our newsroom tonight. Amelia.
Heather, Steve, Canada Rinaldi chose to come to Dallas for her bachelorette party because it's where her fiance proposed to her. The trip was going great until they left a club in Deep Ellum. It was the bachelorette party of Canada Rinaldi's dreams.
We rented a boat so we could go on the lake. We set up some fun little activities and brunches and nice dinners.
The last activity was a night out in Deep Ellum. Rinaldi says as the group was walking to their Uber, a man came up from behind and attacked her.
So I remember walking towards the back of the car, and then I remember waking up in an ambulance. That's all that I remember.
Rinaldi's 23-year-old sister, Brianna Rinaldi, was in the back of the group and saw the attack.
And so I saw this man walk up behind Canada, and he reached his arm out, and it kind of looked like he was going to take her cowgirl hat off of her head. but then immediately he just threw his arm back and punched her.
Brianna Rinaldi says she didn't get a good look at the man's face. She only remembers he was wearing a backpack.
So I screamed at him. I said, what's wrong with you? And then once I saw Canada, I was just screaming her name, and I remember just screaming, my sister, my sister.
The attacker ran off while Dallas police officers in the area were flagged over to help. A Lyft driver's dash camera captures police helping Rinaldi, who fell face first on the ground. The bride-to-be broke her nose and several teeth. She received 8 stitches to her face and has a concussion, among other injuries. Her wedding day is a month away.
I just feel like I was robbed of everything that it could be. I guess I don't feel like it's fair. I shouldn't have to deal with this right now. I mean, I shouldn't have to deal with it ever, but especially right now.
Rinaldi's fiance's aunt was also hurt in the attack. Rinaldi says she tried to push the attacker away, and he punched her, giving her a black eye.
It's a sad deal, and it's sad that people like that are out there, but I'm very hopeful that they'll catch him.
And Brianna Rinaldi hopes this doesn't ruin her big sister's special day.
I hope she feels beautiful. I hope she feels like nothing can ever stop her. I want her to feel invincible and just, looking ahead.
The Lyft driver's dash camera also captured a man running away from the scene. We sent that video over to Dallas police, but they wouldn't confirm if that's the suspect. Rinaldi is back home in Hooker, Oklahoma in the Panhandle. An online fundraiser has raised almost $10,000 for her recovery.
Police say an intoxicated driver who's been convicted of DWI in the past struck and killed a school nurse and mother of 2.
It happened last week. Dash cam footage shows the moments leading up to the crash. It killed 41-year-old Raquel Torres Sawyer. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager live in Collin County with the story. Peyton.
Heather and many witnesses got out of their cars and tried to help the 41-year-old victim. It was a busy Friday afternoon at a Prosper intersection when Prosper police tell us a black truck ran a red light and collided with the victim's vehicle.
Because it does aid us in the investigation that we have.
It's a difficult video to watch. Drivers at a Prosper intersection take a left turn when all of a sudden a speeding black truck barrels through the red light, striking an SUV. Fox 4 is pausing the video prior to impact. 41-year-old Raquel Torres Sawyer was killed.
Early indication shows that she did have the right-of-way.
Just before 5 p.m. last Friday, Prosper police responded to Highway 380 and Lover's Lane. Torres Sawyer was rushed to a hospital where she later died. Prosper police say 25-year-old Austin Bruckner of Denton was behind the wheel of the black truck. Bruckner was also transported to a hospital with serious injuries. His blood was taken. Bruckner was charged with intoxication manslaughter and booked into the Collin County Jail.
This is tragic. This is an accident that did not need to happen.
Torres Sawyer's family tells Fox 4 she leaves behind a husband and 2 children. She was an educator and a nurse, most recently employed at Jerry R. Walker Middle School in Little Elm. Little Elm ISD tells Fox 4 Torres Sawyer had been there for about a year and made a meaningful impact on the community. Back in 2021, Bruckner was arrested for driving while intoxicated in Dallas. Bruckner pleaded guilty to the charge. His sentence, 1 year of community supervision. Prosper police tell me it's still under investigation where Bruckner was coming or where he was going. Police tell me they also found a pistol inside of his truck, and that's why, in addition to the charge of intoxication manslaughter, he's also charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon.
A driver and his passengers are facing charges after a fiery wreck killed a 22-year-old man in Arlington.
Police say the 3 people were in a truck that slammed into that victim's car. Fox 4's Dion Anglin joining us now with details about the investigation. Dion.
Hi there, Heather. The motorist was sitting stationary on the shoulder of this freeway. He was killed by the force of an impact. Police say the driver who crashed into him was drunk. 3 people are behind bars. It was Saturday around 7 in the evening here in Arlington along Interstate 20 near Bowen Road. Investigators say the Mitsubishi sedan was pulled over, stopped in the inside shoulder. The vehicle possibly disabled or out of gas. Police say a pickup truck was seen drifting in and out of lanes, then slammed into that Mitsubishi. Witnesses told police 3 men got out of the pickup and ran. Meantime, the impact rammed the Mitsubishi into the concrete guard wall, and that vehicle caught fire. The driver did not survive. Police say the driver of the truck was 25-year-old Cesar Ramirez Castro. Witnesses were the key to the quick capture of those who fled.
From there, they even had a witness say which one the driver was. That's how good the descriptions were. So we were able to identify the driver pretty quickly. So we did get a search warrant for blood on that individual. So we're waiting to see what that result comes back as. But it's fair to say that alcohol played a factor in this accident.
Now, Ramirez Castro is charged with intoxication, manslaughter. 2 passengers in that pickup truck who also ran are charged in the incident. They are charged with public intoxication. They are 30-year-old Marcelano Ramirez and 24-year-old Daniel Castro Zamoran. Now, the victim who was killed has not been officially identified by the medical examiner. Police say that driver was a 22-year-old man.
Loved ones of a 17-year-old girl killed in a shooting over the weekend held a balloon release this evening in her honor.
Angeline Nino Herrera's family says that she was with a group of friends. This was in West Dallas when some sort of fight happened leading to gunfire. The teen's family says that she was struck by a stray bullet. Dallas police didn't provide any details, but let's go to Fox 4's Peyton Yeager, who did speak with the girl's mother. Peyton.
Hi, Heather and Steve. And Dallas police have not announced any arrests at this point. A witness who was there that evening tells me about 40 or 50 people gathered in a parking lot just over the bridge here near the Trinity River. We're told some sort of fight took place and there was a barrage of bullets as the crowd dispersed.
At the Trinity Overlook in West Dallas, there's a growing memorial with the Dallas skyline in the background for 17-year-old Angeline Nino Herrera. Her family confirms to Fox 4 the Hillcrest High School senior was shot and killed early Sunday morning.
She had plans, she had hopes, she had dreams.
Dallas police showed up at Marcela Nino's door Sunday after her daughter didn't come home.
Please come forward so that we can get justice for her.
Officers responded to a parking lot near Commerce Street and Beckley just after 4 a.m.
I was just a witness there that night.
19-year-old Rena Garcia didn't know Nino Herrera personally, but tells Fox 4 nearly 50 people gathered at the Trinity Overlook early Sunday morning. Garcia says she noticed a fight taking place feet away, the same story she told Dallas detectives.
They started shooting and they drove down the street and kept shooting out of the door, out of the window of the car. It was multiple guns, multiple people just shooting. Just anywhere and everything they could see. It was terrible.
One of the bullets hit Nino Herrera, who later died at the hospital. Wednesday, family and friends had a balloon release in the teenager's honor. Nino Herrera's older sister pleading for the violence to stop.
It was just people being stupid with guns, and it wasn't right. And that's the least that my sister deserves.
Last month, 5 people were shot, 2 died after a shootout off Canada Drive, also in West Dallas. 2 teenagers were arrested and charged with murder. Police believe a fight broke out and then escalated into gunfire. Just a half a mile away on Wednesday, the pain for this Dallas family still fresh.
She's not going to be forgotten, I know that.
And that witness told us and also told Dallas police that the suspect vehicle was a black Dodge Charger. Now, Dallas police did not provide us with any clear answers to our questions about a potential suspect, a vehicle or suspect information or anything about what led up to the shooting, only telling us that it's still an ongoing investigation.
Federal authorities arrested and charged a Texas man for groping a woman during an airline flight.
This apparently was not the first time somebody filed a complaint about his inappropriate touching. Fox 4's Amelia Jones in the newsroom with details about those complaints. Amelia.
Heather, Steve, in every incident detailed in the criminal complaint, Sherry-Ann Abraham always sat in the window seat. When authorities questioned Abraham about the most recent accusation, they say he denied touching the victim at first. But when the authorities shared there was a possible witness, his story changed. A 55-year-old Texas man is facing charges of abuse sexual contact after a 22-year-old woman came forward saying that he touched her inappropriately on a recent American Airlines flight. The criminal complaint says the 22-year-old sat in the middle seat and 55-year-old Sherry-Ann Abraham sat in the window seat. During the nonstop flight from Chicago to Seattle, the 22-year-old told authorities Abraham put his finger on her chest and made a rubbing motion. The complaint says Abraham did this while he was reaching for his bag underneath the seat. The victim initially thought it was an accident. But 5 minutes later, she said Abraham touched her chest again. He stopped when she looked over at him. Then later, the victim says he poked her. That's when she decided to address him and said, "Why the expletive are you touching me?" The victim told a flight attendant who proceeded to move her seat. She stated that, quote, "This was traumatizing for her." When investigators spoke with Abraham at first, he denied he touched the victim. But then, after being told of a potential witness, he said that he may have touched her accidentally while lifting his backpack from underneath the seat. Another victim filed an online report to American Airlines in April 2024 against Abraham for a similar incident. The criminal complaint says on this flight, Abraham brushed his arm against the victim and then placed his hands between her legs. She screamed at him to stop, and Abraham threw his hands up as if confused. The third incident happened in October 2023. The victim told authorities Abraham started touching her seatbelt and then touched her leg. The victim told him to stop and asked a flight attendant to switch seats. When interviewed by police about the 2023 incident, Abraham denied touching the victim. American Airlines says they're working with law enforcement on its investigation, and Abraham is no longer allowed to fly with the airline. We asked American Airlines why nothing happened after the online complaint was made against him in 2024, and we're still waiting for a response. We reached out to Abraham's attorney, who says they don't have a statement or comment at this time.
Frisco police say an elementary school classroom was occupied when a bullet shattered a window.
Sky 4 got video of that busted window frame at this elementary school this afternoon. Police confirmed tonight that it was a bullet that struck the window, but they do not think it was fired at the school intentionally. Fox 4's Blake Hansen reports.
It was a frightening image for any parent. A classroom window shattered by a bullet. Parents of students at Hosp Elementary got the word early Thursday to come pick their children up.
We received text messages and emails about picking up our kids. We didn't get a lot of information, but they assured us that everybody was safe.
Dylan Wyatt's fourth grader, Sasha, first thought it was a drill.
So we were going to music, and it was like a drill, and we all thought it was normal, but it wasn't a drill because the teacher told us.
After first announcing a projectile hit the school, Frisco police later determined it was a bullet, and it did hit an occupied classroom. No one was hurt, but the district dismissed students early as police tried to figure out what happened. Late Thursday, Frisco police shared that detectives located the source of the bullet and believe the act was not intentional. There is no evidence to suggest that the school was targeted. Crews at the school quickly worked to get the window repaired so school could reopen Friday. Wyatt says he's thankful his daughters weren't in the classroom at the center of it all.
She's a little bit further down, and her sister as well, so both of them were on the red pod, so they were a little bit more nervous than the other kids that didn't know too much that was going on, but luckily they weren't in that classroom.
Frisco police haven't said who fired the gun, but say the case will be referred to the Denton County District Attorney's Office. In Frisco, Blake Hansen, Fox 4 News.